Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. Great to have you along with us here for our coverage this week of the Farm Progress Show. I'm your host, Jesse Allen. Coming up here today, we're spending time with our friends at AGI in booth 1034. Lot 1034 is where we are at here today. Really excited. We're going to be talking about a lot of their different grain handling equipment, a lot of their new technology, and more that they have available for farmers and ranchers and things they have on display here during the Farm Progress Show. So we're going to be talking about all of that coming up here throughout our program today. Also, we're going to be sitting down with the brand new executive director for Farm Rescue. Nate Clark is going to join us coming up here in segment 2 of today's AOA. And we'll learn more about the mission of Farm Rescue and much more. So looking forward to all of that coming up here today on the program. Let's jump right in and let's talk with our friends at AGI. Joining us now, he is Territory Sales Manager with a specialty in the portable grain handling side. Kevin Primer is with us here today on AOA. Kevin,
morning.
Great to see you. Thanks for being with us. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks for being here.
Braving the heat yesterday, maybe a little more heat today, it sounds like, but then it sounds like it will cool off a little bit for us here for the rest of the week, which is a good thing, right, Kevin?
It was brutal yesterday, setting up, getting the final preparations done, but it's nice now. So
yeah, and then that's what counts, and we even got a rain shower that passed.
We did. That was nice. Settled the dust a little bit.
Settled the dust to cool things off. All right, let's talk about portable grain handling trends. What do farmers want? I mean, what's the big thing that they're asking for from AGI right now? Let's start there.
More efficiency is the thing we hear the most. How do I make my operation faster? How do I unload my trucks faster? It's not good to have combines sitting at the end of the field waiting for the trucks to get unloaded. So that's the number one challenge we have as a manufacturer, is to make it faster and more efficient for farmers.
Well, and I can imagine with how fast we are going these days, having that portability and having things, be right there when they need it. That's so crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you also don't want breakdowns. So we manufacture grain augers and belt conveyors, and they're not the most expensive piece of equipment on the farm, but they can really delay the harvest if they break down. So that's one of the things too we're stressing, is just to make sure you get those pre-harvest checks done so that equipment's ready to go by the time you're ready to start that combine.
Now, thinking about this, there's been a lot of talk about the ag economy environment. I know that's a concern for a lot of farmers. So with a tighter farm economy, what are some of the things that farmers are really emphasizing this year? What can they see at the show? What do you expect to hear from folks here over the next several days?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, they want more efficiency. So what we're offering solutions for is, with the tight economy this year, they may not be ready to buy new, but there are bigger, better machines that are used at some dealers. But also just to see what's out there, so that when you're ready to purchase, you can picture in your mind what you're going to do next time you purchase. But there's also ways, we offer accessories and things like that to make your harvest more efficient too, that can be added on to your current operation.
Talk about some of those accessories. I'm glad you brought that up. What are some of the hot trends right now when it comes to grain handling equipment on the accessory side?
Sure. So some of our most common accessories on swing hopper augers, we offer hydraulic and electric power swings, which will swing the hopper under your truck. And you can do this right from the seat of your truck. So you pull in your truck, you swing the hopper under it, and it saves you 2 trips in and out of your truck. That's a real common attachment. On display here at the show, we have an extend hopper, is what it's called, and it's an all hydraulic telescoping auger hopper that you can drive under your hopper on your truck to unload. That's a new. We're demonstrating that here today, so that you can, if you are here, you can see that in operation. We also offer some drive-over systems that you can get to speed up your operation as well. So you don't have to swing a hopper if you don't want to. You can just drive over and drive your truck over and dump into an existing auger.
We are talking with Kevin Primer, AGI Territory Sales Manager here on AOA today at the Farm Progress Show. harvest right around the corner. We should talk about that here for a couple of minutes. And I think about this, that pre-harvest health check, so to speak, before you get super, super busy and get rolling a million miles an hour. What are some things that people need to think about here ahead of harvest, Kevin?
Yeah. So, first of all, make sure that you're checking your equipment before you need it. Don't pull it up and expect to use it the first day without checking it over. Probably number one for us is safety. Make sure all your safety cages are in place, PTO shields are in place. AGI does offer free of charge new safety cages if you need them. If you say you bought an auger at an auction or whatever and had some broken mesh intake safety cages, those are free of charge from us because we do want you to stay safe. General maintenance, checking the gearbox levels, checking your flighting. If it's worn, it can damage your grain and it decreases your efficiency. Check the bearings and just different things. The tires, make sure they're all inflated bearings. If you're pulling your auger to different locations, it's just nicking in stuff that you don't want to have break while you're in the heat of harvest. It can be prevented if you just do a pre-season check.
Very, very true. Very, very true. A lot of things to think about here. As we kind of wrap up here, we've got about 2 minutes. Any other final thoughts in terms of the portable grain handling stuff that you guys have here on display or in the lineup or anything else that we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, we do have several new products on display. In 2023, we introduced our new Series 2 swing hopper augers that are more efficient, require less horsepower. We'd like to show you those. We do have a brand new lineup of belt conveyors, the Series 4 belt conveyors that we're showing here. We show drive-over systems here, and all kinds of dryers and grain handling equipment that's on display here. A lot to see.
Definitely. Well, and if folks can't make it here for the show for 3 days, I'm sure contacting their local AGI dealer online, a lot of great ways to get in touch and learn more, right, Kevin?
Yeah, you can go to aggrowth.com and it'll take you to, you can find a dealer. You can call a dealer and they can, if you have a specific question, just have them contact one of their territory sales managers. We do have a very experienced crew of territory sales managers that have been through a lot. So any questions, just ask them and they can get in touch with us and we can answer about anything.
Fantastic. Kevin Primer, portable grain handling, specialty in portable grain handling. He's an AGI territory sales manager. Kevin, thanks for joining us here on AOA today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, coming up next here on AOA, we will continue for the Farm Progress Show. We're going to talk with the new executive director of Farm Rescue. Nate Clark will be with us next here on AOA. Thank you, sir.
That went fast.
It did. I don't want to make you hold that the whole time. So here, just leave it going. I'll
yeah, it can probably be locked the other way, but
well, I'm just gonna set it up right here rather than making you hold this. Yeah. Hi everybody who's watching AOA live today. There you go.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Thank you for trying. Let's try this. All right. Hi, Nate.
Hey, you've got a great voice.
Thank you. I try. All right. Let's make sure we're good. All right. Is that too loud in your ears?
No.
You good?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. Like I said, I'll introduce you. give a little background on farm rescue.
Yeah.
Kind of go from there and start about the mission. And I know Wisconsin was the most recent state you guys added, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. Should just be a good back and forth conversation.
You got it. I've done
Over
a few of
coffee.
these.
I know you're well versed, so I ain't worried about it.
Wait, how did you get started doing this?
I've been in farm broadcasting for about just over 10 years now. Right out of college. I'm from northern Iowa originally.
Oh, where?
Marble Rock.
Okay.
Just between Mason City and Charles City.
Got it.
So I worked at the stations in Mason City for a long time.
Cool.
And then when I moved to Nashville, and
I was wondering the Tennessee Pride.
I ended up getting hooked up with this company, and then I took over hosting AOA about a year ago.
How do you like it?
Great, I love it. Mike Adams started the show with the company, and then when he retired, Mike Pearson was the host for 2 years, and then I've stepped into the role.
Yeah.
So, yep. It's been an exciting change. It's been a lot to learn, but it's been good.
Oh, good. You seem very natural in it, so awesome.
I've fallen into it well. So, alrighty, sir. We will be. All right. That makes me feel better.
What's that? The big board's showing you some good news, or
just texting up to Fargo and with these farm shows, you never know with the internet. So, all right, here we go. And as we continue here on AOA, back with you from the Farm Progress Show, day number 1 of the show here. We're with AGI in lot 1034, the Red Sentinel Building. They have a great setup here on the show grounds, a lot of their grain handling equipment and more. And we're going to talk more with the folks at AGI coming up here in just a little bit. Right now, though, we want to turn our attention to Farm Rescue and the mission that Farm Rescue has. I think about harvest season coming up and just general safety around the farm and ranch. And so joining us now, he was recently named the executive director for Farm Rescue. Nate Clark is with us. Nate, good to meet you. Good to have you here with us. Thanks for being here. How are you, Nate?
I'm great, and it's amazing to be here at the Farm Progress Show. While Farm Rescue has been here several years, this is the first time that we've had our own exhibition in space, thanks to the generosity of the Progress Show itself.
And that is awesome that you guys have that here. I saw that news, and I'm glad you mentioned that, just because I think the things that you guys do and are continuing to do are so awesome for folks in need. So just for background, I know plenty of folks are familiar with Farm Rescue, but for those who are listening who are not, give us a little background on Farm Rescue.
Yeah, so Farm Rescue is a one-of-a-kind nonprofit organization. What we do is we bring wonderful volunteers, we bring machines, and we bring compassion to farm families that have experienced a crisis, like an injury, an illness, or a natural disaster. And what we do is we make sure that these farms can operate. So we provide typically planting, haying, or harvesting service, and we do some other things to help families in distress.
Well, and that's, I think about this, and I've seen the stories time and time again of someone who, an unexpected passing in the family, or someone who's critically injured, and then it's all of a sudden you see 6, 7, 8, 9 combines and Farm Rescue team out there taking care of harvest or planting season, whatever the case is. And it's really, talk about the feeling that you get and that other folks involved in Farm Rescue get behind that when you go out to help someone, because I think it's truly fascinating.
Yeah, one of the things that we found is that there's enormous generosity within rural communities, within farming communities. And there is this impulse, this desire to get back when neighbors are struggling. One of the challenges we face, however, is that oftentimes the same farmers who are some of the most generous people, they're often the most reluctant to ask for help. There is a stigma about asking for help during a time of crisis. We see that time and time again. So when we can provide volunteers, provide folks who have experience in farming, bring them to farmers and say, hey, we're here to work with you. Our job is to provide services that are as good, if not a little better, than the services you might be able to provide yourself. Magic happens. One of the things that is really the source of why Farm Rescue was founded in 2005 was our founder, Bill Gross. His family went through the tragedy of losing a family farm during the farm crisis. And years after he had left the farm, that memory, that trauma had stuck with him. And so one day, he's a pilot for UPS. He was flying and he turned to his co-pilot and said, one of these days I want to go back, I want to buy a tractor, I want to drive around to help farm families who've experienced a crisis. And that co-pilot said to him, well, why don't you do it now? And he did. And informed by his own experience, he's created this organization that has grown from North Dakota now to 9 states. And we served over 1,100 farm families.
And I know just recently Wisconsin was named as the 9th state that you guys offer services in. And it's a lot of states throughout the upper Midwest, correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. So it's North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Nebraska, and most recently Wisconsin.
Now, talk about folks. I know this happens too. A lot of times when they're in need, they're maybe not apt to reach out and ask for that need. We know just how proud people are in rural America. So talk about, how do folks, if someone's in need, how do they get help from Farm Rescue? Is it typically someone else reaching out on their behalf? How can we get involved and get people the help they need?
You bet. So in our experience, we find that one of the most important sources of help is a loved one or a neighbor. We have a website, farmrescue.org, where people can reach out and get phone numbers and have applications for support. But the most important thing is a loved one. We often find a spouse or a partner or a neighbor who knows that a farm family has gone through a crisis. And they reach out to us, and then we do our best through our field teams, who are themselves farmers, to reach out to the loved ones or the families directly to offer our support.
We're talking with Nate Clark, the Executive Director for Farm Rescue, here today on AOA. I think about this too, with you guys being a nonprofit. You have a lot of great partnerships that have come about here in recent years. A lot of help from folks in the ag community, outside the ag community, because I noticed you're wearing the Farm Rescue Bush Light hat, and I know a lot of people have maybe been familiar with seeing the Farm Rescue logo on a beer can, and so you guys have a lot of great partnerships. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we've been very lucky to earn some special brand partnerships. You mentioned Anheuser-Busch and Busch Light. They have been one of our financial supporters. One of the things that we're introducing at the show this year is this co-branded one-of-a-kind Farm Rescue Busch Light hat that we're offering to donors who commit to donating $10 per month to Farm Rescue. But here at Farm Progress, it's really a who's who of our best supporters. I mean, our friends at Worthless Hybrids, we couldn't have a better supporter in terms of not only financial support, but using their network to advocate and find cases for us, and then even find volunteers. We have other great sponsors and partners like Nutrien. They've been one of our most generous sponsors over the last few years. The team at John Deere, of course, Titan Tires, and so many others.
Well, and I think about those partnerships too, and I know, you mentioned other folks who, if they want to commit, $10 a month or whatever the case is, but that's part of what it takes is that element of financial support to make sure you guys can continue to do the things that you do to help people in need. I think that's very important to just make sure to reiterate, this isn't done for free. I mean, it is, but there's things on the back end that kind of that support has to be there to make this go and make the wheels turn on the bus, so to speak.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm really glad you brought that up, because the same, I think, anxiety about the farm economy, that is actually hitting many of our donors.
Yeah.
And so we've seen a fairly dramatic decline in donations as people are thinking about their own homes and their own businesses. And the work that we do, it couldn't happen without the generosity of donors. It costs a lot of money to bring volunteers and and equipment and neighborliness to people throughout the Midwest. So one of the things that we always urge is to come visit our website, farmrescue.org, and visit us at the booth to learn a little bit more about the work that we do. One of the things that I have found in being a new executive director of Farm Rescue is that everything that everyone said about how special Farm Rescue is entirely true. When we rescue the farm or support a farm or ranch family, it will save that farm and its economic and social viability for that year, but then for generations to come. We think we're a great investment in the community. We also make sure that every dollar that's donated to us is used for the highest and best purpose possible.
Fantastic, fantastic. Final thoughts here. We've got just a minute or two, but as you take it over as the executive director now and get your feet under you, what are some of your goals for the next year, 5 years, whatever the case may be? What's top of mind for you? What do you want to get done as you lead Farm Rescue?
Yeah, at the very center of my goals is how do we continue to serve more farm and ranch families? That's it. When we do that, good things happen. I'm also, of course, interested in finding ways that we can earn more donors. It's businesses, it's individuals, it's anyone and anyone, everyone and anyone who wants to support farm and ranch families. And then we love volunteers. Many of our volunteers currently are retirees themselves. They're retired farmers. There's such thing as a retired farmer. They make their way to us. We always need a fresh pipeline of people with technical skills on equipment, driving trucks, or just with an interest to get back to the farm community.
Well, great stuff. Again, for folks, I know they can see you guys here at the show, so give us the lot number and then the website one more time.
Yeah, it's booth 1310, and website is farmrescue.org.
1310 if you're going to be at the Farm Progress Show this week. Otherwise, again, farmrescue.org for more information. And if you or someone in need or know someone in need experiencing a crisis on the farm, Farm Rescue is a great organization to reach out to. Nate Clark, Executive Director for Farm Rescue. Nate, thanks for being with us here at the Farm Progress Show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks also, Jesse, for using some of your time and your voice to get our message out.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next here on AOA, we will continue our coverage of the Farm Progress Show. We'll talk more with our friends at AGI from booth 1034. Back with more on Agriculture of America right after this.
Thanks, Ren.
You bet. Thank you. right, we're coming back live. Here we go. And welcome back to AOA, Agriculture of America. Sun is out at the Farm Progress Show here in Boone, Iowa. First day of 3-day show at the Central Iowa Expo. We are with our friends at AGI, lot 1034. If you're going to be coming to the show, swing on by here and check out some of the different products that they have. Grain bins and so many things available. It's really, really good stuff here. So yeah, lots of stuff to be seen here. Joining us now is we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of their new products here, and we're going to talk about a pre-cleaner for mixed flow dryers. Joining us now, Jeff Cruzen, AGI Business Development, Specialty Dryers, Storage and Conditioning. Jeff, thanks for being with us. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Jesse. Thank you for the invitation to talk with you this morning.
Absolutely. We got a new thing to talk about, a pre-cleaner for mixed flow dryers. Tell me about it.
Well, we introduced the pre-cleaner back in January of 24, and really what the pre-cleaner is designed to do is to eliminate any particulate that goes or comes into the dryer with the grain. And one of the advantages of that is we're trying to eliminate any particulate that might come out of the dryer during the drying process. So it's gained a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement for us right now.
Well, taking a look at, and I know you guys have done so many great innovations and new products. So, you know, how does this work? What is a pre-cleaner? How does this work? Give us some details.
So a pre-cleaner is not a new device to the industry. There are several pre-cleaners out on the market today. What makes ours a little different is the fact that we have built it right into the receiving inlet of the dryer. So it's not going to add any additional height to the dryer. That's a big advantage. So you don't have to change any of your filling system or anything like that with the dryer. So what it does, as the material comes in, or the grain, it's going to go across kind of a baffle system that's going to move the grain back and forth, fluffs it up, and a little airflow is going across it. It's removing or sucking out some of that material that's light and free and can be removed.
Well, thinking about this, so this is an optional attachment. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, it is an option that you can choose to put on. And it's also an option if you presently own a dryer and would like to add this, you are more than happy to do so.
Well, thinking about this, why would a farmer want a pre-cleaner? I mean, let's talk about that. What's the value? I think everyone wants to know that ROI, that return on investment.
Yeah. Well, two things. Mixed flow dryers, which is what we sell, is not a new concept or drying process. Mixed flow dryers, and this is pretty much a blanket statement for anybody in the industry who builds a mixed flow dryer. They have a tendency to have more material come out of the dryer. So that's one of the key components that the farmers say, hey, mixed flow, I like it, I like the process, I like the concept, but it's allowing too much particulate to leave the dryer. It makes my grain site a little bit dirtier than normal. So what we're doing is we're helping them eliminate some of that dirtiness coming out of the dryer. And like I said, this is not a concept or new to the industry, and it's a blanket statement for about every mixed flow dryer out there.
Well, I think it's a good time to bring up the mixed flow dryers. So over the past few years, I know the mixed flow has gained some popularity out there. Why is that, Jeff?
Well, a couple things. It's quality of grain that's going to be coming out of the dryer. We'll have farmers that will tell us that the drying process with a mixed flow is actually going to improve their test weight coming out of the dryer. So here again, you talk about the ROI, you get a little more test weight, you've got more product to sell, you're going to gain a little more income on that product on that. So the mixed flow itself, the process of it is that we have a heat duct, we have an air duct, and when the material flows down through, the triangles do three things. They deliver the heat, they exhaust the moisture, but it also keeps the grain from becoming tightly compacted in the grain column. So what does that mean? That means less airflow has to be utilized and or heated up to dry that grain. So that, again, is another return on your investment with the dryer.
Well, and thinking about the ROI, energy efficiency, I have to think that's a big key as well.
It is right now. Mixed flow dryers over a standard screen dryer, which is what everybody's familiar with today, you're looking at about a 25 and maybe 30% improvement or reduction in drying costs because of the concept.
That's huge.
It is huge right now.
I think about this, especially with, we talk about it, and we've been talking about it, the way the ag economy is. I think a lot of farmers are going to be very particular on anything new that they add to their operation as we kind of readjust, so to speak. I think that's the big thing. I think that's a better way to put it than saying a down cycle. So looking at ROI, some of these products like mixed flow dryer or the new pre-cleaner, things like that, that can help make your operation efficient is where I think it could be a really great avenue for farmers to take here, Jeff.
Well, and I would agree with your comments there. You know, with the mixed flow dryer and the return on your investment, the improved efficiency that you're going to gain over a standard screen dryer, farmers need to be taking a serious look at this. And honestly, that's what's driving the mixed flow market right now. Wheat grants are the other thing that is improving on that. Or I shouldn't say improving, but it's benefiting. Guys can take a look at going after the wheat grant, and then as much. I'm going to say is with the mixed flow, it's going to be a little easier process than with the screen dryer.
We're talking with Jeff Cruz at AGI Business Development here at the Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. Let's talk storage and conditioning. What are farmers wanting there? What are they looking for on that side?
As far as the storage side, well, right now the big question is, do I have enough storage on my farm? You know, under the conditions that we're into right now, with commodity prices, grain is not getting delivered as it normally would this time of year. So we're coming into harvest, and storage is going to be a little tight for a lot of clients out there right now.
Well, and I think about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Storage is going to be a little bit tight. So what should farmers be considering here as they're thinking about, future storage, site improvements, getting through this fall, et cetera, looking at next year? What's top of mind, Jeff?
Well, right now it's understanding what your storage capabilities are, what you have on site, and can you hold all the grain that you want to hold on a normal, typical harvest for you. If not, you need to be talking to your dealers. The only problem we're running into right now, harvest is just around the corner. This is not something that can happen quickly. So you need to be talking to your local dealer, find out what their capabilities are, can they get additional storage up for you before, say, the end of harvest for you.
What is happening in terms of the latest products from AGI in terms of storage, aeration, bin accessories? Anything new there?
Well, we've had a change a little bit. We're now going to a 4-inch corrugation for our sidewall sheets. We've had that. It's nothing new to us, but we're bringing that product more to the U.S. market than what it has been in the past.
Well, I think about these products and more, and of course, something we talked about earlier is reviewing, repairing, make sure that everything is up to date. And I think that's a big aspect to talk about from your perspective here on the storage side and more, because harvest is right around the corner, Jeff. I mean, it's important to make sure things are in proper working order now.
Right now is the time that you need to be walking around your facility, evaluating, turning components off, whether it's your fill system, your takeaway system, your whole site. You need to be testing to make sure that everything is proper working condition. The last thing you want to do the day you start flipping switches and you have problems. That's not what you want to have happen.
No, it's not what you want to have happen. It is definitely, it's something that once things happen like that, we know parts, components over time, over years, things got to get buttoned up and repaired. And so it's important to do that now while you have a little bit of time, because once those combines start rolling and you're getting equipment out in the field and you're trying to get things off the field and into the storage, there's not as much time, is there, Jeff?
No, they're not. We also understand during the heat of the battle, and truly it is the heat of the battle, the nerves become a little wrecked, and there's a sense of urgency, and that's why we can't stress enough, make sure before harvest you're doing an overall review of your facility. It's just like when you prepare your combine for harvest. You're going to go through it from inside out, you're going to talk to your local dealer. We can't stress that enough, as well as talk to your local dealer if you have questions about your facility or your operation. talk to them, invite them out, and do it real quick. They're busy as well, just like you, but it's well worth the time and energy to do so.
Jeff, we got about a minute and a half here. Any last thoughts? Anything we haven't touched on from your side? Think of dryers, storage, conditioning, etc.
No, honestly, if you've got questions about AGI products, reach out to us, reach out to a local dealer. We're more than happy to assist you with your grain handling system. And we're more than happy to answer questions and preparing for harvest. So reach out to us.
And I know that folks can contact their local dealer, representative, online as well. A lot of great ways to get in touch, right, Jeff?
Exactly.
And I believe aggrowth.com.
Yep.
Yep, I got it right. Aggrowth.com for more information. Well, Jeff, again, I know you guys have a lot of great products on display here at the show. Lot 1034, people are stopping by, and they can grab one of you guys here during the show and take a look at. You guys have quite an impressive setup here this year, Jeff.
Yeah, well, thank you. One of the things I want to stress to the farmers, guys, be safe this fall, have a great harvest. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good crop to harvest this fall, but whatever you do, be safe, take time, don't rush, just be safe, and let's get through this harvest.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that, Jeff Cruz in AGI Business Development. Jeff, thanks for being with us here on AOA today. It's good to talk with you and appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it.
We're not done here from the Farm Progress Show. We'll be back, and we're going to talk with Aaron Squires, Territory Manager for AGI Digital, talk about some of their specialty in the bin monitoring technology and more. They have a lot of products on the tech side of the equation as well. So we're going to talk to her and continue our coverage from the Farm Progress Show here in Boone, Iowa, on the way right after the break. Thanks, sir.
All right.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Yep. I know you always hear yourself
Joining us now, let's talk about bins with brains. Aaron Squires is with us, territory manager for AGI Digital. And Aaron, it's good to see you again. We talked at Commodity Classic, and crazy to think how feels like it was just yesterday. It's the last time we talked.
I know it. That's exactly how it feels. It's pretty crazy how time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. Well, thinking about bins with brains, I know commodity prices have pulled back. It's been a tough conversation. A lot of challenges there with storing grain, maintaining grain quality over a longer period of time. And I know that's where you come in. As I know AGI is on a mission to help farmers kind of take control over their stored grain with the brains in the bin. So talk about, what does AGI mean by putting brains in bins?
Right. So when we're talking about the brains in the bin, what we're saying is that, farmers nowadays have technology pretty much all over their farm, whether they know it or not. And so when it comes to grain bins, that's where that technology isn't existent. And so what we're trying to do is get the point across that at the end of the day, you work so hard in the field, whatever it may be, and then you store grain into the bin and have no ability to know what's going on. So what we're trying to say is, we've got bin manager, which is, our sensor technology that we have cables. And so what we want everybody to understand is that not to be afraid, right? Let's put the brains in the bin and let's do the work, not you.
Definitely. Well, talk about, as you put those brains in the bin, how does it work? What role does it play with fans and heaters, things like that? So talk about how this all works.
Absolutely. So when we're talking about bin manager, so it is a cellular-based technology. And so we are linked up, we get our power source from the fans. And what's going to happen is, based on the productivity outside of the weather, what's going to happen is these fans are going to kick on and do the work for you. So we're going to read the weather that's going on outside and be able to know when to run the fans at the best time, so that one, you're not wasting energy, and two, we're just taking the guesswork out of it for you.
So talk about AGI Bin Manager, and I know that's one of the big things. And we talked about this last time you and I spoke at Commodity Classic. I mean, thinking about the importance, the ROI, the value, why is this also important?
Absolutely. So again, this goes back to the biggest, where we see the most ROI is going to be soybeans, right? Because what we're going to do is we're going to hydrate. So year after year, what I'm seeing is 9% gains that's coming in. And the amount of money that's lost just in that weight. So what's going to happen are these fans are going to kick on. We're going to blow in the moisture that's needed. And, be able to, turn around this entire process of 9% and go to 13 and a half, whatever we're needing. And we're going to use Mother Nature for that. And so that's where, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the ROI, you're going to get that not only one, you can see what's going on with corn, but we're also going to hydrate with beans.
Definitely. Well, I think about all the way technology's evolved, digital sensors, real-time monitoring, getting all this information from AGI Bin Manager inside your bin right to your phone or your laptop or whatever the case is. You're not having to constantly go check things manually. You could be away on vacation with the family.
Absolutely.
And check on the condition of your stored grain.
Absolutely.
And that's super important, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think the best way I like to think of, bin manager is, you're going to take money and you're going to put it in a bank account. You're going to want to know what's going on with your bank account. That's exactly where bin manager comes into play. That becomes now your visibility to know what's going on. I mean, you're dealing with living organisms. So anything can happen, moisture fronts, anything. So that's where, bin manager it's been a great piece of technology that AGI has picked up, because at the end of the day, you're knowing what's going on in your bank account.
Thinking about this too, I mean, with all this technology, the things that are needed to achieve good stored grain conditions, especially if we're storing grain for months on end, on the farm. I mean, talk about that aspect and some of the things that are truly, really needed to get good stored grain.
For sure. So kind of like what you were just talking about, the biggest thing is a lot of farmers today have grain still in the bin from last year. And so it's such a risky, maneuver that you can do to leave grain in the bin not knowing what's going on. So, again, that's where we want to make sure that everybody understands not only is it just the, knowing what's going on inside of it. But the safety aspect is huge to keep you out of the grain bin and not knowing, keeping you on the ground. Let the system do the work.
Absolutely. We got just about a little over a minute here. So thinking about what is the first step farmers need to take to put grains in bins? Talk about this a little bit, Erin.
Absolutely. So I work alongside my dealers. And so what's going to happen is the biggest thing is we're going to go on site. We're going to measure out your bins. We're going to see, first of all, we're going to run an aeration model because CFM is a huge factor, like we were talking about the fans. We want to know how your setup is to not only be able to reach that target, but be able to do that in the most efficient way. Because if you've got a target that you're trying to hit, maybe it's December, maybe it's March, whatever it may be, we want to have that conversation and make sure that everything, not only the fans have the ability, have the ability to reach that target, but also leaders, we want to take a look at all of that as well. But our dealers and myself, we come out and we take a look at all of that. Yeah.
Can folks see the bin manager at Farm Progress Show?
Absolutely, they can, and I would love for them to come by and see us so that we can that's free, right?
Yeah.
They don't do that, so they don't have to pay for that. They get to come out and take a look and, see the team.
1034 is the lot where AGI is at. You can't miss them. All the bins and more are on display here at Erin. If folks can't make it to the show for some reason, what's the best way to learn more about AGI Bin Manager?
So go to www.aggrowth.com.
Aggrowth.com. You heard it there. Erin Squires, Territory Manager for AGI Digital. Great to talk with you again. Thanks for being with us here today.
Always a pleasure.
Fantastic. And that's going to do it for our program here today with our friends at AGI at the Farm Progress Show. And thanks to them for the hospitality and having us here. We will be back tomorrow with more coverage for the Farm Progress Show. Day number 2. We'll be sitting down with our friends at BASF. For now, though, we're out of time. I'm Jesse Allen. Thanks for listening to AOA, Agriculture of America. Have a great rest of your day. Woo! And we're done. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back tomorrow from BASF.